is Thursday, and yes, we are meeting again for the next episode. I would say, yes, one of the final episodes where we are concluding on the inner voice. We started with describing it, we talked about the four levels of the inner voice, starting from presence, cleansing, addressing thyself, healing, which was the fourth, and we discussed that last week. And today we are going to discuss the golden door, which is what we call we reach the golden door, or yes, we get access to the golden door as we reach out to it, or as the golden door reaches out to us, or to be or in short, when we seek or we get the key for the golden door, we seek that and the door seeks us. It's a dual process. Well, right. All right, so let me call upon my associate Samiksha with me. We'll be holding a discussion on the golden door, and we'll be talking about how one reaches to a golden door, what happens when one reaches, and yes, the intricacies with that. Hello, hi, Samiksha.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great, I'm well.
Great to have you here on the live.
Yeah, always, it's great to be here. Okay.
All right, so today we are going to talk about the golden door, and which is the last stage of what we say, the healing process, which is the inner voice.
Right.
Well, when we talk about the golden door is nothing but we not just seek the golden door, but the golden door also seeks us.
Yeah, right.
We don't reach out to it, we just make ourselves available, or we make ourselves what we can say are ready to be at the golden door. And the golden door, it just comes to us. We don't have to reach out to it anytime. And
Right.
that's exactly how it works about as we go about the process of healing and as we move further from there.
Right. So, the golden door is the fifth step of the healing process. And
Right.
the first four, I know that you told them when you started it, but I would just like to repeat them so that the people, those who have
Yeah.
joined, can hear it again. So, number one was um,
Well, we start from presence. Number one is
presence,
presence.
and then it's addressing thyself.
No, it's cleansing. Cleansing is the second
Cleansing.
level.
Right.
So, starting with presence, then it's cleansing. Then we come on to addressing thyself. And the
And
fourth
then
process is healing,
healing.
where we actually go about the process of unlocking a lot of what's been deep within. When we unlock that, that is the time when we reach or when we seek the golden door, which is level 5, and the concluding level of this healing process.
Right. So the process of the golden door, how would you describe it? Is it something that involves a lot of shadow work and that involves a lot of contemplating, or is it something that has sort of always been there and we just need to open our eyes to it, and it just brings us back to the simple life? Like,
Well,
what is
when
your
we
take
say
on that?
simple life, when we say simple life, and the opposite of simple is often regarded as complex.
Yes.
Life is not complex, it's neither simple, it's compound. That's how we describe. In fact, there are a lot of functions that go on in our lives simultaneously, and that makes it compound. That there's so much going on. They are interrelated. A lot of times they are even not. And that is exactly how it goes about in life. Well, talking about the golden door. So, like you said, yes, it has always been there, and it is us opening eyes to that. We just acknowledge that this has been there, and now we just know it, or now it's starting to make its presence evident to us. And when you say shadow work is nothing but just realizing that our shadow is a part of ourselves. and which is nothing but an outcome of light. That we are standing in front of a light source. Now, light is often regarded as wisdom, and we are matter. So, when there is wisdom, there is matter, there has to be a shadow. And shadow is an outcome of that. When we regard a shadow for what it is, we are opening our eyes onto that. And when we see it, a shadow disappears. Because when we are looking upon it, it's kind of we are throwing light onto it, that shadow is getting disappeared. So practically, we cannot see a shadow. We cannot see it, but yet we can still acknowledge its presence. A lot of times we say we can either see ourselves, like we can either be focused on doing something, or we can either be focused on realizing ourselves that, okay, I am so and so at this position right here, right now. We can either be this or we can be that, but we can't be both. Now, that being both or being either one of the two, at one point of time, yes, we are one, but we can see our reflection on the other side. That's the beauty of it.
So, would you describe the golden door as something similar to enlightenment?
Well, enlightenment, not exactly enlightenment, because enlightenment is often regarded as we reach out to some form of wisdom, or we let that wisdom like to let that wisdom seep into our beings or seep into ourselves. The golden door is something when we realize that this is what my reality is. This is what is my side of the picture. There may be 100 other people, they have their own sides, and they are right in their perspective. And my role is not to cut their paths. But yes, we will be crossing paths, of course. But just acknowledging that my perspective is this, and at no point of time I would want to let anything set me off my purpose or set me off my path. Similar is the golden door, that we reach out to that, and it's when we say how long it takes to reach out or to seek the golden door. Well, there is no timeline to it. It's always a personal timeline that goes along with it. It can happen the next moment, or one may take years to reach out to that. There is always a personal timeline that when we go about a particular thing, when we go about something, we move over a challenge or we move across a fear. That is when we cross the path and when we reach the golden door. Golden door is just realizing that this is who I am, or this is what am I supposed to do. A lot of times in a lot of situations, they end up in a position where there's a big jumble up of emotions and a lot of things that tend to get jumbled up, and we we may not be able to solve that, but the point is a lot of times we don't even need to. We just acknowledge that there is something which is getting stuck. So that's how we go about certain situations.
So, the whole process and golden door is basically moving from ignorance towards awareness and acceptance. And it's not about changing everything in your life, but changing the way you see your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We see a lot of things, we see them as roadblocks, but they are not roadblocks. Sometimes they are walls because we are not meant to go that way. Or sometimes we are meant to cross that wall because when we'll cross that, we'll be capable of walking that path. That is not really something which is hindering us, but also making us prepared or making us protected a lot of times. Or maybe understanding why this roadblock has been there. If it should not be here, where we can put this, just like a defense mechanism, or if it has to be disintegrated and like removed from here at all.
So many people fail to go into that kind of detail and think about what has happened. because everybody is so led by fear that everything needs to be in control. I need to have everything in control. One thing goes wrong, another thing goes wrong. You are like filled with feelings that you don't want. That leads you to having bad days and anything that you would say, because it's so hard to let go of the control, and it's hard to let go of the things that you can't control. Although that is what I think that the golden door leads. That is where it
Right.
leads you to. It teaches you,
And
I
that,
think, that let go of things that you can't control.
well,
And
when you say fear, so talking about fear and the intricacies of what is fear, fear is like a fire alarm. For example, we are in a building and it has a very good fire safety system, and the alarm goes on. Like the alarm just starts buzzing. We have two options. We can either panic or we can find a safe route. We can go by the emergency exit. Now, our fear is that alarm. It tells us that yes, there's a danger. That be alert, you are in danger. That is fear. That we are walking down, for example, it's getting dark and we are walking in a jungle. Yes, there is danger. We are hearing sounds of various birds and also animals. We can sense that, okay, we got to be cautious. It's not fear, it's danger, which is a potential danger out there. I don't want to get hurt. And now that fear is telling me that, okay, keep yourself safe, keep yourself safe. Now, building that relationship with fear, that, okay, this fear is not danger, it is potential danger. The moment I identify where the fire is, the first thing what we do is set the alarm off because it is no longer needed. I know I've identified where the fire is and the team is on the way. We are going to put that fire off. Same is what we call is fear. A lot of people they don't put that emergency alarm off. That is
because
when
they
that
don't
keeps
know how to.
ringing. Exactly, they don't know how to. Yes, exactly, exactly. That is what we go about in the process of healing, which is level 4. And as we go into level 5, the golden door is seeing beyond it. Seeing beyond it in the sense because when our mind goes off, it's just in a state of fear. And now what happens is when we go in an emergency mode, our processes of uh, deep thinking, critical thinking, they are stopped immediately. We are just in a survival mode. If there is something, find something, just fire it. Find something, run away from it. Just take quick decisions. We got to move away from that. Get that alarm down, calm yourself down, and think. Look around. It's not as bad as the alarm made you feel. It's good to have a good alarm system, but yes, it is also important to set that alarm off. Now, once the alarm is off, one can see that what are why am I here? Why did I come to the jungle in the first place? And what's making me afraid? Do I have to move forward? Or if there is no purpose, I can start walking back. And now, if there is a purpose, how can I get rid of, or how can I keep myself safe? It's getting dark. How about I light some fire with me? That's going to keep these animals away. And then
Right.
we can maybe continue our journey.
That is the kind of state of mind and proactive thinking that you can only get when your mind is stable, um, and you do not let the fear take the best of you. And that only happens when it's not about ignoring the fear or ignoring anything, trying to be practical. It's not about that. It's about seeing the situation beyond these feelings that you feel, seeing the world beyond, like realizing that it may be my perspective. The world is not like that. It may be me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like now, a lot of times we come across people, we come across situations, and a lot of couples. One of them says that let's be practical. This so and so person is not practical, and one of them is like, well, I don't feel good about it. That's the emotional side of it. Well, when we talk to both, Both are right. Now, both cannot be right practically, but yes, both are right in their perspectives. We gotta be practical, but not at the cost of emotions. We gotta be emotional, but not at the cost of being practical. There has to have a balance between the both. Now, this comes with practice a lot of times. We are in a stressful situation, we feel something. One has a tendency to put that emotion away, that let's not feel it for now. What's important is to process that emotion and not to carry a baggage of that emotion. We gotta process it, let it pass. That's how we deal with emotions. But in dire situations, sometimes it is required to just stop feeling emotional at all and doing something. This is a state of mind which is required sometimes. Some people, they work on this. They work their entire life on just this mindset. This is emotion, this is not for me. Don't get it to me. I'm not dealing with emotions. Well, and some people, they are so into emotions, well, that's not going to lead you anywhere either. Because emotions, they are meant to tell you that this is right or what are you feeling within. This is right, this is wrong, or just to give us a sense of being. And this is very point when we realize things and we got to feel the emotion and move beyond it. We got to see it in the practical way as well. That this is the situation, but this is what I feel about it. Because we can take a situation left, we can take it right. What matters is where do I need to take it? My emotions are gonna tell me, and that is the key. This processing, this takes a lot of time. This takes a lot of effort. This takes a lot of energy.
So people tend to ignore their emotions a lot and only focus on what they're thinking and what is right to do in a practical way. But this also reminds me of the book I was reading. So I read a lot of books. So I was reading this book called Inner Engineering by Sadhguru,
Right.
and in that he mentions that just being practical is just not the way to live life. If somebody lives their life all the time in an intellectual practical way, it's not possible. Only everything in our life is led by our emotions. All the connections, everything that we do, it is happening through emotions, and that is the basis, that is the fundamental. And more people don't need to be emotional but need to accept that emotions are as important as the mind, the thoughts, and the practical things that they are doing. And they have to realize that all of those things are coming from an emotional base. So I think the whole uh, the inner voice, I think, is all about the message that um, paying importance and emphasizing the emotions, and focusing on our energies and all of that, our well-being, which ultimately leads to a better life, anything that we want in life, health, happiness, wealth, everything that we want. It all starts through our energy and emotions, I would say.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, you summed it all up, like what we have been doing and
Right.
what it leads to. And I would like to add one more thing here. Now, what happens is a lot of times when we talk about things which, now, being practical is one part, being emotional is one part, but it's about the sense of being, maintaining a balance between when to be emotional, when to be practical, and this balance, like it is first of all, it's important for one to identify that what is my emotional state. And understanding, people tend to club emotions and thoughts together, and like taking something from level 2, what we talked there, that thoughts, they are processed in the crown chakra, emotions, they are processed in the sacral chakra. Now what's important is the speed of processing of a thought and the processing of an emotion, they are way too different. If we go through an experience which involves a lot of thoughts and emotions, first of all, learn to respect the speed of thought and emotion. We cannot keep holding a thought, it will hurt us. We cannot speed up an emotion that's going to hurt us as well. Respect the thought for what it is, respect the emotion for what it is. They have their own different positions, they are meant for different purpose. And when we identify that, we are just keeping putting things back into their place. And like you said, that gets us to the balance of what we say energy and emotions. Yes, these are the two wheels, and our life is the axle. And that's exactly on which the vehicle of our life is moving.
Exactly. Balance is the key.
Right, right. And if we put more power in one wheel, we are going to go in circles.
That's right. So
That's what we
we are
say.
here right now talking about this course, but I feel like I need to, you know, apply for this course right away because it's not something that needs to be. It's just it's one of the essential courses, I would say. It everyone should do that. I feel that.
Absolutely,
As
absolutely.
much as people focus on other things like their career, their jobs, they should also um, you know give time to themselves and do this for themselves, for their inner being, for their state mind or heart or whatever. People buy a lot of things and everything, but I think that people should also focus on these things, which is like themselves first of all, and then everything else.
Right, well-being, especially because it's a healthy mind, it's a healthy emotional being, emotional selves that's gonna let us enjoy everything good in our lives.
Exactly.
All right, with this, we would like to conclude our today's session. We want to thank our viewers for joining in. I want to thank you, Samiksha, for facilitating this live sessions for me and being with me through this journey of talking about the inner voice. And feel free to contact us for any queries. And if you're feeling anything, if you want support at any point of your in your lives, feel free to reach out. Feel
Right.
free to reach out to us.
All right. It was great talking to you, and take care and stay safe.
Take care. Good night.
Good night.